Welcome back to A to Z Sports Talk. It is just me today. AJ is busy, and today we're going to cover the Tennessee Titans, the a preview for the Tennessee Titans. So let's just jump on in. The Tennessee Titans last year, were 7-10 and missed the playoffs. But it kind of ended terribly for them as they lost 7 straight to end the year, which resulted in them losing the AFC South to the Jaguars, which for me, I was very happy about. And they didn't make the playoffs. So pretty dramatic second half of the year for them as it was rough. They did have Derrick Henry all year, but I believe it was Ryan Tannehill was kind of hurt, and Malik Willis and Joshua Dobbs did not really perform that well. And I think that's kind of led to them drafting Will Levis in the offseason, which a good segue into the preview this year. Drafted Will Levis in the second round. Kind of interesting pick as they did pick Malik Willis last year. And they also have Ryan Tannehill. So very interested to see how that all plays out. Right now on ESPN, the depth chart, it's probably not, as we all know, it's probably super accurate. Not. But they have Will Levis third string, Malik Willis second, and Ryan Tannehill starter. I personally think Ryan Tannehill will probably start. It's not like he is a terrible quarterback. He only played 12 games last year, had 13 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, but his completion percentage was 65.2%, which was way higher than Dobbs or Malik Willis last year. Actually, Derrick Henry had 2 passing attempts last year for 4 yards and a touchdown, so that's pretty impressive. But that's a big question mark, I would say, for the Titans. And their passing game could get better as they did add DeAndre Hopkins to their team. And as we know, he is a beast. He literally just is amazing with any quarterback, as shown in his time with the Texans when he had like Tom Savage as his quarterback and just a lot of guys who were not that great. And he just continues to dominate. So that's a huge pickup for them. It makes their wide receiver core look a little bit better, as it's Hopkins, Traylon Burks, who was a rookie last year and kind of showed flashes of what he could be. He only played 11 games last year, 33 receptions, 444 yards, and 1 touchdown. I think you got to expect him to be perform better than that this year. Yeah, and they also have a guy named oh my gosh, my computer's going crazy right now. Kyle Phillips is their third string or third wide receiver. He was drafted in 2022. Yeah, he barely played that much at all last year. So they have a lot of young receivers besides DeAndre Hopkins. So if D-Hop goes down at all, it's going to be hard for the Titans to kind of take into account that injury. So yeah, their offense is looking a little sketchy on the passing side, but as you know, the running side is amazing. Derrick Henry, the king, he was a beast last year. I don't know why I didn't think he didn't play at all last year or got hurt, but he played 16 games, had 1,500 yards rushing, 13 touchdowns. I believe he was on my fantasy team, and he was very good. So they're gonna pound the rock like they have they done for a while since Derrick Henry's been on their team. And they also drafted Tajay Spears, running back out of Tulane, who had a super crazy good year last year for them. So at another running back, you can get some carries and lighten the workload for Derrick Henry, which will hopefully keep him fresh and healthy for the whole season. They also drafted a offensive lineman with their first pick, Peter Skoronsky out of Northwestern. He's supposed to be super good, so we'll see how that goes. They did release a couple of longtime Titan linemen, Ben Jones, center, and Um, Taylor Lewan, left tackle. Shout out busting with the boys. Those are some guys that have been there for a really long time. So it's gonna be a little different without them on the team, but I think their offensive line will be decent. I don't know how great it's gonna be. It looks like their right tackle suspended for something. Not sure, but yeah, as a team offensively last year, they weren't great. To say it lightly, they were in total yards. They were third lowest. The last was the Rams. Second to last was the Texans. Then it was the Titans with 296 yards per game, which is not too great. And it was their passing attack was not great, 171 yards per game, but the rushing attack had 125 as we know, Derrick Henry stud, and that was kind of middle of the pack, I would say. And their passing was, yeah, bottom last or bottom three. So yeah, hopefully they can improve their passing if they want to have a successful year this year. But as we know, the rushing game is going to be there. It's what they depend on. It's how they have been so successful these last couple of years, making it to the AFC Championship game a couple of years ago. And it's just weird to see them not make the playoffs last year. And a big part of that was their defense. Their defense was really weird, kind of weird stats. For total team defense, they're in the bottom half. They allowed 351 yards per game. But the thing is their passing defense was terrible. It was last in the league. They're the worst passing defense for yards per game. But they had the best defense against the run, which I don't know if I've ever seen a team where they're the best at defending the run and the worst at defending the pass. So obviously that's something they need to hone in on and get better. Obviously they have Jeffrey Simmons, who they re-signed, who's a stud at left defensive end. Harold Landry, really good player. Aziz Al-Shari, I read, has been having a really good training camp so far. And it's weird that their passing defense was so bad. I think they maybe had some young cornerbacks, but they have free safety Kevin Byard, who's super good. But I think the defense will be middle of the pack. I am assuming the running defense, I think, is going to be super solid as it was last year. And I think their passing defense will improve. When you have Mike Vrabel as the head coach, he's just proven as an amazing coach in the NFL, and we'll get that defense humming. But I guess kind of covered the offense and defense. Let's go through their schedule and see how we think they will do. So they started off the year playing at New Orleans. I really think the Saints and Titans are kind of in the same place right now. I don't think they're going to be great. I think they're both going to be kind of end up the same at the end of the year, but I'm going to have the Titans win this. Why not? Week 2, they play the Chargers. The Titans had the worst passing defense last year. Justin Herbert's on the Chargers, and they have Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and they're just loaded. So Chargers are going to win that one. Week 3, they play at the Browns. I had them losing that one as well. I think the Browns are going to be a lot better this year. I think Deshaun, after actually playing football for the first time in a long time, will be better. And they got Nick Chubb, and I think they're going to be a solid team, so they're going to lose that one. Then they play the Bengals. They're going to lose. That's self-explanatory. Then they play at the Colts. I don't think the Colts are going to be that good. So they're going to get win number 2 there at Indianapolis. Week 6, they play the Ravens in London. This is kind of interesting. I going into this, I had them losing it, and I think I'm still going to have them lose, but the Ravens, as we know, they are built on running the football, and the Titans are really good at run defense. So it could be a close game, probably low scoring, ground and pound there in London, but I'll have them losing that one. Week 8, they play the Falcons, and I'm gonna have them win that one. The Falcons are gonna be kind of frisky, I feel like, this year, but I think the Titans will beat them. Week 9 at the Steelers. Um, I have them losing this game. I think the Steelers play better at home. I think the Steelers would be decent. It's probably a toss up, but I think at home, Mike Tomlin and the Steelers will get the job done. Week 10, they play at Tampa Bay. I don't think Tampa Bay is going to be that great this year. So I'm going to go. They're going to get win number 4 against the Buccaneers. Week 11 against the Jaguars. They're not going to be the Jaguars. I think the Jags are going to be really good this year. Trevor Lawrence, the GOAT, is going to lead them to victory. Week 12, they play the Panthers. I don't feel like the Panthers may be decent. It just depends on how Bryce Young plays, but I think they're going to lose. So that's win number 5 for the Titans. Then they play the Colts again. Usually, in division, it's those games are toss up, no matter how good or bad the team is. But I don't think the Colts are going to be good at all this year. So, Titans are going to win that game as well. Um, Week 14, is at Miami, and I think Miami is going to beat them. I think if Tua's slinging it, even if their backup slinging it, I think just Tyreek and Jalen Waddle are too much. Week 15 is against Houston. I'm not sure. Ooh, this is a tough one. I think they're going to win this one. It is at home. I think Houston's going to be sneakier than people think, and I think the Titans get the job done against them. They play against Seattle week 16. I think they're going to lose that. I think Seattle's going to be very solid this year. And then week 17, they play against the Houston Texans, and they will win that, or they will lose that game. I think they're going to lose split with the Texans. And then I think they're going to lose to the Jags in week 18. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wins. So I have them at 7-10, just like last year. Just not as bad as their 7-10 year was last year. So yeah, Titans. I think they could be. I think they could be. I think they could sneak into the playoffs possibly. I think they'd have to win the AFC South, but whenever they're doubted, Mike Vrabel seems to answer to the bell. So I wouldn't be surprised if they somehow become super good and win like 10 to 11 games out of nowhere. But also, if Tannehill gets hurt and if Levis is not good or Malik Willis has to play, it'll be a toss up to see how good they perform, and they could even lose a couple more games. So that'll do it here for this episode on the Tennessee Titans.